Welcome to Strategy Battle Gamers to the GBHL YouTube video. You have your host GBHL Damian, and this is another hobby vlog for me. I think it's number 6 for me. I didn't do one last week. We had a really busy week with the Best Event Ever Part 2 tournament, but I have been getting on with a few bits and bobs. I've got quite a lot to show you this week, so this might end up being a relatively long hobby vlog. So first up, to fill you in on where we are, here is Thrain, who I think is now finished, apart from his base obviously. So there he is. I'm quite pleased with how he turned out. Now I say I think he's finished because I thought he was finished, and then Tom came round and he looked at him and went, nah, he's not finished. So that's then plunged me into doubt. I'm really happy with kind of his face and his beard and all that, but Tom thinks I need to do some more brown highlights on the cape there, so maybe I'll give that a go. We'll have to see quite how I feel about that going forward. But he's nearly done, and hopefully by the end of this video you might actually see him fully based and completed. Who knows though. So I got on with him, pretty pleased with him. It's quite interesting trying to get all the different reds to kind of stand out from each other, which is quite cool. And he's a nice little model. So I then moved into my next hero, which was meant to be Thrain, but I decided I couldn't quite resist, and I went for Bolg. And the reason I've gone for him is because the One Ring painting challenge this month is a single miniature Forces of Darkness, and I haven't been able to enter the painting challenge on the One Ring for a while, just because my painting things haven't really kind of matched up with what they're painting. So I thought I'd give this a go. So at this stage, as you can see, he's not very far down the line, but he's had all his armour and metal done, which was painted black, then dry brush tin bits and dry brush with chainmail, and I've painted his flesh, Rakarth flesh, and I'm going from there. It's a really, really nice model, and I'm quite looking forward to spending some time on this guy, and hopefully making him kind of really pop. So that's the models I've been working on. I've also got something else cool to show you, which I might develop this week, which is some scenery. So as some of you might have heard in various videos and stuff, the whole team GBHL, all 4 of us, went to the SELWG, which is South East London Wargames show at Crystal Palace last weekend, and we had a great day out. And whilst I was there, I managed to get some cool scenery by 4Ground, and this is what I've got. So 4Ground, for anyone who doesn't know, are the company that make the scenery for Dead Man's Hand, which is the cowboy game I've told you about, which we might be showing on the channel at some point. And what they've just started doing is this range called Fabled Realms, and basically these are they're laser cut MDF buildings. I've assembled a bunch of them for Dead Man's Hand, and they go together really, really well. They're pre-painted as well, so you don't lose any time there. And this Fabled Realms set they've started doing, I think, is fabulously brie. You see they're called Backstreet Hovel on here, but it looks just like a kind of brie building for me, with the added bonus, I think, that they all kind of double up as a Lake Town building. So, in the way that us hobbyists like to, I went a bit mad, and I got that building, and I got this 2-story building, which is obviously the same kind of design as that one, but on a slightly bigger scale. You can see all the pieces are in there, like that. And then I got this one here. And this one here. And finally I got this one here, which is the biggest one I've got, with a little staircase. You can sort of see how many bits of MDF you get in there. So it's all pre-painted laser cut MDF, and all you need is PVA glue. Experience from Dead Man's Hand set also tells me that you need rubber bands and pegs to hold the stuff together at various points, but all you need to actually assemble them is PVA glue, and they're really, really nice kits. And the reason I went for these is I think it's very, very hard to find buildings that look like Lord of the Rings buildings. It's a very particular aesthetic, and when I saw these I just thought they were great. The doors will open in them, everything kind of hinges nicely, the roofs will lift off, they're painted inside as well, so if this is anything like Dead Man's Hand one, this floor here will be completely removable and will lift off, which is very, very cool. And the reason I'm showing you these now is it is Saturday night at the moment. Emma's asleep on the sofa downstairs, and I think I'm going to have a crack at assembling one of these downstairs while I watch from Jonathan Creek. So hopefully by the end of the weekend I'll be able to shoot a little video. I think I will start with this one. I'll start with one of the smaller ones, and hopefully I'll be able to show you a video where I have made some progress on this little creation. But just for now, I'm going to pop it open and show you what the pieces look like. Okay, so I've popped it open. As you can see, you get really clearly detailed full colour instructions for how to assemble them. Just to give you some idea, I've assembled these before, as I said. They are quite fiddly. They're not. There's a few things that kind of can potentially go wrong. You just need to be very careful. As you see, all the parts are properly labelled up with the numbers, which correspond to the numbers on the sprues. Just there and there. But you need to make sure that when you're assembling things, you get them the right way around. So here are the sprues. As you can see, they're fully painted, laser cut, MDF, painted on the sides that they need to be painted. Got that one. Pop this open. These are presumably the interior walls, I think, with the cracking on them. With these pieces, this looks like it's going to be a framework of some sort. These pieces. That's that side. And these little sticks here are a very clever invention. These little pokey things, you poke those out of the sprue, and then you use those to poke the other parts out of the sprue, which is really handy. My experience tells me. Yeah, so that's obviously these slats here are clearly going to fit over one of these in some way, aren't they? Yeah, so that's going to kind of slot on top of that at some point, which would be cool. And this looks like it's the chimney stack, and this will be the roof. So I couldn't recommend these kits enough. I really love assembling them. I buy 4Ground, and the great thing is if you go and see 4Ground, they do great discounts on their site, and if you go and see them at shows, they'll do you a discount if you buy a bunch of them, which is why I got a whole bunch of them. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of have a poke around with these and have a bit of fun, and hopefully show you how they look. Okay, so as hoped, I was able to get the house completed, and here it is, my first little brie house, which I think, as hoped, looks rather lovely. This is it fully assembled. So all told, it took about, it's not quite flat, that needs to sit there, I think, there we go. All told, this one took about 2 hours to assemble in total. You will need some rubber bands and some pegs, ideally, to kind of pin things in place, but this is the finished product. And what's very cool, as I'll show you, is the roof lifts off. You can see that inside it also looks like it is finished. Yeah, so it's not a kind of bare bones thing. And the great joy about these, as I said, was that they come pre-painted. You also notice that the door opens and hinges, which is very cool. You can move models in and out, and it looks rather nice. You also get these little window frames so you can properly see through, which is kind of cool. One very nice touch that they do, 4Ground do a lot of, is this. This is a boarded up window, so you could replace one if you want, but I decided to have Brie as a prosperous town. And it's quite cool how they go together, and to give you some idea, if you look at this, the dark brown panel there is the inside wall. You then glue on the brown beams on the outside, and then if you see the white patches, the plasterwork is actually another layer as well, so you then glue the white plaster patches into the gaps. So it's quite fiddly and it's relatively time consuming, but it makes this fantastic kind of 3D effect where it's not a kind of flat wall. You know, the beams really do come out, and they really are gorgeous little kits. So I'm as I said, just PVA with this. PVA holds it together. You pin it together with rubber bands and pegs, and then you make the separate sections. So I'm really chuffed with this. I think it looks very Lord of the Ringsy, very Brie-ish. And I'm looking forward to getting started on the other 4 buildings, which will, I've got a couple more. I think there's 2 more that are single story, so it'll be about 2 hours, and then 2 big buildings, which will probably take twice that long, but well worth it in my opinion. That's from 4Ground. So yeah, I hope you liked that, and I'm also now going to show you a bit more work I've done on Bolg and Thrain. And so here we are with the last update of my blog this week, which has been, by my standards, staggeringly prolific. So first up we have an update on Bolg, who I decided to start. Here he is, and Bolg has now got to the stage where he's been base coated and washed. So kind of dry brushed all the armour up to get that kind of nice dull metallic effect that I quite like on my EVA models. Everything else has been painted and washed, and he's now ready to take highlights. As I think I said in my earlier blog, I'm entering him, I'm doing him next way, enter him into the One Ring Paint Challenge. So my hope is by the end of this week he'll be done, ready for my next vlog next Monday. We shall see, of course. And finally we have the now utterly complete Thrain. So here he is. Should we get that in focus? And there he is. So his base has now been done, and I conceded and put an extra kind of lighter highlight on his cloak, which I think was probably worth doing, and will keep Harrison off my back. So there he is. Very pleased with this guy. I think not perhaps quite as good as I hoped he might be, but as you can see, I'm quite pleased with the kind of face. He's got his one eye and the other eye's been blinded. I think his beard looks quite cool, and having to get all the reds right was tricky, but I think he looks quite nice. So that is my first big dwarf hero finished and off the table, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, there we go. House assembled, Thrain finished, and Bolg started. Not a bad week. As I said, by next week I hope to have Bolg finished and hopefully another house done. So I guess I'll see you there and see whether I was successful or not. As ever, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe, support your Hobbit hobby, and happy strategy battle gaming.